Once you've created a new quiz or self-grading assignment using Google Forms, you will want to take a look at the settings for that form before you post it for your students or send it to them to start filling it out. The way that you get to the settings for the form would be when you're looking at the form in the Edit view. There'll be a gear icon at the top. If you're looking at your form and you don't see the gear icon, look down here. You might see a little pencil, which is an edit button that you could click on to get to this view. So we click on the gear for the settings, and there's 3 tabs here. Let's start with the last one and work our way to the front. If you want it to be a quiz or some sort of self-grading assignment, you would want to make sure this is checked. If you created the assignment in such a way that it said it was going to be a quiz, it would already be checked. If you have a classroom set of Chromebooks, this would be a good option for you. And then you can choose when you want it to release the grades. I typically am making these assignments as some sort of homework or an exit ticket, so I let them view immediately. But you could turn it on to be later if it's a more official kind of quiz and you don't want them sharing answers, being able to see the answers immediately and share them. Presentation has to do with their experience while they're taking the quiz. A progress bar might be helpful if you've set up multiple sections to your quiz. They can see what page they're on. Shuffle the questions, and then show a link to submit another response. You would sometimes have checked for a survey or something like that. If you want them to have multiple chances at your quiz or homework assignment, you could check that box. The confirmation message is the message that they see when they submit their answers, and you could take this opportunity to give them a little personal message from you. On the General tab, this is an option that you may or may not want checked. It depends on what kind of email addresses your students have. It's checked by default if you've got, we have a G Suite for nonprofit domain, and it's always been checked by default for me because of that. If you have a G Suite for education or nonprofit domain that you've used to get all of your teachers' email addresses, that might be something that's checked. You would only want to keep it checked if your students also have school email addresses within that same domain. Otherwise, if they're using their personal Gmail Google accounts, they won't be able to access your quiz or your assignment if this is checked. It'll tell them they don't have permission. So if they're using personal Gmail addresses, just uncheck that. And if that is the case, you might check this box. You don't need both of them checked at the same time, but you might check this box so that you can limit them to one response. If you only want to give them one try on a quiz or assignment, they would have to collect email addresses one of these 2 ways. But it might be, even if you're not limiting them, this is a good box to check just to make sure you have some sort of contact information in case they didn't fill in a name field or something like that. And then the last couple options that we haven't looked at, you can check these boxes to let them edit their answers. If they realize they made a mistake later, they could come back and edit if you wish. And then they can see a summary of maybe more than just their answers as well. There's some other options you can change just to make your quiz look more personalized, or just make it look different. That's going to be up here in this paint palette icon where you can customize the theme. You can do things like change the color. Right now the default is purple. You have all these colors you can choose from. If that does not satisfy your creative palette, you can choose any color of the rainbow. You can also add an image across the top of the quiz. You can choose from a variety that they have for you to pick from, or you could upload your own. Just if you upload your own, realize that it's going to put it in this very wide box that's not very tall. So the photo you upload, you want to make sure that it's not going to be cutting off part of it that you want. You can also upload from the photos that you've previously uploaded in your drive, something like that. All right, so those are the options to change just the look of your quiz and make it your own. The last little button up here really isn't a setting. It takes you back to the view mode or the quiz taker view, where you'll see what the students would see. And if you're in this view, when you're looking at the quizzes that you've created and you don't see those other options up here, Go down to the corner, you'll see this pencil that takes you back to the edit mode. All right, so those are some of the settings you might want to look at for the quizzes and assignments that you've created.